right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Royal News Network and our live streams here. I am in Boston today. And not only do we have, obviously, William and Catherine here on tour, but we have, Harry and Meghan trying desperately to steal their thunder. And it's been a fun day, a hectic day. And I was so excited to be able to see Catherine and William pretty closely. Now, my view wasn't quite as good as it was yesterday. I didn't get to shake their hands, which was really disappointing, but I was able to get a couple of really good shots of them and a great video. If you guys haven't checked out that video yet, you really should. It's up on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. I had to put it up on YouTube as a main video, even though it's only 3 minutes, because for some reason it wouldn't let me upload shorts today. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but that's fine. Hello, everybody. Oh, thank you so much, Michelle P. already for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much for joining, especially somewhat last minute here. I've been trying to go through and analyze everything and trying to get everything together. So, Michelle, thank you so much. And we'll go and say hi to everyone else as well. Andrea, hi. Miss Brittany's on fire today. Thank you. Thank you. Cindy Lou says, Brittany, I hope you got to shake some royal hands today. So unfortunately, I did not. So I ended up arriving pretty late to their second engagement. Unfortunately, my Uber driver, my first one, could not figure out how to go around the block because the street was blocked off. And Uber told the guy that I was at the labs where Catherine and William were at. And I kept watching him and he went like the wrong way down. And then he went up a side street and like all he had to do was turn right and he would have been right there. And apparently that was too difficult. So I had to wait another 8 minutes for somebody else to finally come. He finally figured out. I even told them the street's closed, go around. And I told him I was like at this marketplace or whatever. Finally, this guy found me and was able to pick me up, but I was really late. And once you're in a crowd like that, once you're 2 or 3 people behind, you really can't see anything. It's difficult to get through. But what I did is I had which I don't have right now. No, is this it? This tripod, which is technically supposed to be on the ground, and I put my camera on it and I put it up in here and I got some really great video. So it's shaky because it was very cold and windy, but I was able to get it and I was super excited about that. So hi, everyone. Georgie here. Hello. Sean, Catherine, and William were disrespected at the basketball game yesterday. So, yeah, they did get a little bit of booing, apparently. I wasn't there. I debated going, but if you guys watched yesterday, you'll know I was very tired. And I had a really long week before. So I did really need to go to bed early. So I can't attest to how much booing there was or was not. Because obviously, we had some reports, but I think maybe it was just, the crowd just being sports people. Not that sports people are bad, but sometimes William was booed at a football/soccer game in the UK, and it was just kind of a tradition there. So it just may be something similar. So I just can't really say for sure. All right. Andrea, from British Columbia, you guys got some snow. That's a lot for that area. So, wow. All right. So, hello to Sean and Nicole and Kate from Seattle. MAPG, hello from Cicely, Evelyn, Tudor Rosie from Birmingham, Alabama. Let's go down. Sorry, I see a couple of you guys chatting, so I was like trying to get through. Just to make sure I can say hello to other people. Lady Silmbine. So hello. I apologize. My pronunciation of things sometimes is not good. So if you guys have any questions or comments or about the day, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you guys don't follow me on other social media accounts, let me just hopefully be able to pull it up here. I got my best coup today, guys. I was just so stoked. I got this picture, and this is a bit harder because it's harder to share screen without a second screen to kind of look at. But guys, take a look at this picture. How awesome is that picture? I got that picture. I was so stoked. It was fabulous. I did not get, I don't feel like any other really great pictures except for this one. And you can tell like she looks fabulous. It's just an awesome shot. So my photography skills in terms of news photography leaves much to be desired. So I need to work on figuring that out. But I just thought I was just incredibly happy with that picture. I think it turned out really, really nicely. And I was just super, super stoked about it because you can tell. Let me pull up one that's not quite as great. I got a lot of the security guys because you just gotta keep picturing things until but yeah, so maybe I didn't go back here. Yeah, see, there we go. There's Catherine getting into the car and it's blurry. So sadly, that was not my best day. But I did get a couple of them. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh yeah, these ended up turning out kind of good. So there's William right there and one of his assistants. And then you can see kind of both of them together here. And then Catherine. So this is through cars. It's really far away. So I think these turned out. I like that picture of her with the big smile on. I thought that turned out pretty well. So those were a couple of my good shots. Oops, sorry. So that was some of my good shots. All right. Well, let's go down here a bit. Oh, okay. Wendy, thanks for your coverage. You are a shiny gem on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the tip as well. And then we have Mary. Thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so, so kind. And then we got Carolyn. Thank you as well for the tip. I really do appreciate it, guys. And then Jen, thank you so much for the tip as well. It does really help because this is, an expensive city and this is so fun, but it does cost a bit, especially because I decided to stay with my hotel that was a little cheaper and it's further outside of town. So it does take a bit of an Uber trip to get in and out. But Boston has great food and a great place. If you've never been to Boston, I really encourage you guys to check it out. It's pretty awesome. So let's keep on going through here. Hello, Grateful BY and Stephanie. Hello. Nakara from Hampton, New Hampshire. Hello. Elsie, good evening, my royals. Hello. Cookie Toots says Netflix must know this will bomb hard and Spotify is not stupid enough to give it another season for Flopcast. So what will they do? So obviously we have as well, in addition to, sorry, I'm just gonna, so my iPad's not dinging all the time. So we obviously know as well that's, it doesn't seem like, or it's rumored that Spotify may not greenlight a second season for Meghan's podcast. I don't know why they would. I found it boring and dull and pointless because she was talking about things that happened years and decades ago. So, or issues that have been really not in the spotlight for a really long time. So I don't know. It just to me seems so out of touch and so out of date, and I just found it rather pointless. And as well, Netflix. I think here's the hard thing. Because I know there will be hate watch for their reality TV show. I call it reality TV show because that's what it is. To call it a documentary is a bit too much to me. Like documentary, why do you need a documentary? You guys aren't that interesting. But I feel like in Meghan's mind, she has inflated her worth to the world to such an extent that it's become a little ridiculous. Because she guys truly does think she is the pinnacle of women, female and woman of color achievement in the world, and that everybody wants to know her love story. Because I was working on a video before this that I'll hopefully get all done and maybe get posted tomorrow if I can, is just talking about the trailer that we saw, and it's clearly totally all about Meghan. It really is. You could just tell in some of the pictures, like that's the focus. And it's just so cringy. Like she just so screams influencery, C-list actress, like all the poses and everything. They're just so fake and cringy. Ugh. Not to mention the fact that she posed the same way with Harry that she did with her ex-boyfriend. And if I was Harry, or if I was, if I had a boyfriend or whatever, and he was posing with me the same way he did with his girlfriend, like very specific poses, I'd be like, really? Do you really need to do that? Because that would just feel like, to me, it's like, well, I'm replaceable because you replaced me literally with somebody else and are doing the exact same thing. But maybe that's just me. Yeah, so Stephanie Coker says there's no reason to watch the Wannabe Royals trash when we have hardworking YouTubers like Brittany here. Yes, I'll be watching so you guys don't have to. So I will go through it. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Not looking forward to it necessarily, but Hey, it is what it is. And a lot of eyes are on it today, so that'll be fun. All right, Elsie, hi, Brittany. You were very close today. I was very close today. So going back to Catherine and William, I was very, very close to them. And what was really fun is that, let me see if I can pull it up here. And there may be some background bound. Yeah, there'll be a bit of background noise. But it was really fun because I was really, really, really close to them, and I could see her in person. And so she is, guys, very pretty in person, and that was fun to see. So here we go. They're coming out right now, and you could see they're going towards the crowd. I kind of knew as soon as they weren't going back towards their cars, which were the other direction, they were coming down this way. And so they started greeting the crowd, and you'll see I jumped a little bit between these cuts because it was sometimes I would lose them in the crowd. I would just not know where they are because there's just so many people and people are chatting and everything. And so it was just hard to tell. And again, I have my little tripod thing. So my tripod thing is up in the air, and I have my screen on my camera because I was using my actual digital camera tilted down so I could see, which was like, I'm so glad I did that because it could have been like I was trying to film the entire thing and I got nothing. But I realized, oh yeah, my camera has the tilt down thing, so I can tilt it down, I can watch it. So that was really, really fun. And so I could just see both of them, and I could see them in person as well. So I didn't just look through the camera, I could see her through the crowds at times, and she was very, very pretty. Catherine just did look beautiful. I thought that was a great color on her. I love the suit. And she just looks really happy here. And I think it's right here where you may be able to hear her say, thank you. Did you make these yourself? So I hope were you guys able to hear that? I hope you were able to hear that. Sorry, I'm scrolling back through to see if you guys were able to hear it. So I hope that I was just thought it was really, really fun to be able to see them that close and interacting with people, and just to get her voice on recording as well, especially because it I wasn't, my camera was somewhat close, but not that close. So it was really, really, really nice, and just a great little thing. And yeah, so Amanda asks here too, did you see the little boy who dressed up as the British soldier and gave Kate the flowers? So cute. So let me go ahead, and I actually did see him, and it was funny. I was talking to my mom. So she had called me. It was like in between the engagement, and we were just waiting. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll chat with you. It just didn't seem like I was like chatting with her because it didn't seem like, that much was going on. But let's see here. I did get him a couple pictures of him in his little uniform, and if I can find them, because they kind of moved, and I was messing with, here we go. Here we go. I was messing with the settings of my camera and trying to do manual focus because they were far away. So that made it, let's see, does this show up? Nope. Okay. Sorry, I just got to reshare my screen in a different way again. So hold on just 1 second. There he is. Isn't he so cute? There he is. So yeah, he was in his little Union Jack uniform. He was actually to the right of me, so more towards the corner, and I saw members of her staff, like the Wales's staff, going in that direction. And as soon as I saw, because I'd seen his picture on Twitter before, and then also when they start grabbing him, I'm like, oh no! So I had to jump off the phone and got a couple of pictures of him. And I did see them walking down the street later, and I'm really bummed I did not grab him for a quick little interview. And partly because I was like still waiting for my Uber driver and hoping he would pick me up sooner so I could just get to their next engagement. But sadly, that is not what happened. So unfortunately, because I would have loved to have gotten it, and I waited there another 20 minutes, so I could have totally chatted with him for a couple minutes. So I'm really bummed I didn't, but I also just didn't want to miss my driver. And so anyways, but he was super, super adorable. Very, very cute. I love that they did that. Very smart too, to do something like that, because it did just draw a lot of attention. And so they just went over and just grabbed him from the crowd. So he was again to my left. so their venue was to my right and he was far to the left in the corner. So I don't know how they just saw him or they just happened to see the Twitter post like I did, but somehow they did see him and they brought him up. And I just thought that was super cute and just a great little thing to do. And it's like, well, parents, if you want your kid to maybe meet a princess, dress them like a British soldier or somebody else. Apparently, I think a local news station or somebody said he was looking to hopefully meet Prince George. And of course, sadly, Prince George wasn't there. So I do feel sorry for him. And so it was just, again, but very, very cute. And it was very, what was it? It was very cold today. So that was a bit of a challenge, but it was really fun to see them. So Terry asked, "What are Kate and Will doing tonight?" So I'm not sure. I have the tentative schedule that we have, and so I didn't know what they were doing this afternoon. So when they showed up at Boston Harbor, like I knew they were doing something, but I didn't know what it was, and it just wasn't on the official schedule. And I was just so bummed. I was like, "Oh, I missed it," but I was also like, "I'm also very cold." And I forgot my hand warmers here. And so once you just start getting chilled, it just gets harder and harder. And the wind was really starting to pick up. You could even tell in the pictures with Catherine and William that they were cold. And I don't blame Mom, it was cold. It was really, really cold. So I think that was a bit, even for them, it was chilly today. It was really, really cold. So actually with Catherine walking around in that blazer and sport coat, I mean, because it started getting colder later in the day. In the morning wasn't too bad, but especially once the sun went behind the clouds, that little bit of warmth the sun brought just like died. So it was just, oh man, um, yeah, challenging. Oh, Lexi, I sent you a super chat yesterday. Oh, you did. Thank you so much. All right. And Mary as well. I can't remember if I thanked you. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Oh, grateful BY. My sister now follows you after I sang your praises. Thank you so much. You are so sweet. You are so sweet. Oh, Yo Wonderland she is aging so well and is looking more beautiful. She is. I think she's looking really, really fantastic. And so it is just really, really cool to see her. Shelly Brown says, love the pictures and videos. Boston is very Irish Catholic. So it may have been the Poos were being British, not royal. That could be entirely true. That is a great point. So again, that goes back to if you're just joining us, there was apparently some booing at the Celtics game. But if they were Irish, that would completely makes sense. That does make sense. So yeah, so let's see through here. Lily of the Valley, hello. You've been following for a long time. Hi, Brittany. I saw your footage of the Prince and Princess of Wales. Well done. Really good shots. Prince William looked handsome and dapper. Princess Catherine looked beautiful and majestic. They did really look great, and they were very engaged with the crowd, and the crowd was very engaged with them. And so I feel like that was a great aspect of the royal visit. And I will say as well, I was waiting to hear if any of the press asked any questions or shouted any questions about the Harry and Meghan trailer, and none of them did. So I don't know if that was something they discussed ahead of time or what, because there is obviously the Royal Rota, and the Royal Rota is pretty close to William and Catherine's team, really, because they all work closely. Technically, they all work very closely together, and they do have impromptu, chats and those sorts of things. So I don't know if anybody from the Royal Rota asked, but that would be. But I didn't hear anybody shouting or anybody really asking about it. We did chat a lot about Harry and Meghan yesterday with the group of ladies I was hanging around, but when it comes to the media shouting questions about Harry and Meghan, I haven't really seen any of that. Okay, going down here. Oh, Chloe, thank you so much for the tip. You are so sweet. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Lexi, you said they were looking right at you out of the car. They were. I think Catherine was looking directly at me, or at least at my camera. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I just was so excited because I just wasn't sure what kind of shots I got. I actually thought I got a pretty good shot of her going into the car, but if you guys missed those, I do have those. They're not the best. I think my camera was more focusing on some guy in closer and not further away. It's just hard to try to figure everything out at the same time. Sometimes it's more challenging than I would like it to be. So hopefully I can figure it out at some point. That is my job. Or that is my goal, is to figure out how to manage the camera and get better shots. So that the shots just continue to get better and better. Peggy Cole says, "Thank you so much for the tip. Don't you think it's kind of strange that the ripple of hope is about race in a system when Kennedys don't have any mixed race in their own family? Just a question." That is an interesting question. That is an interesting question. And again, it goes back to, I think, is that, the allegations, the statement is vague by Harry and Meghan. It's unsubstantiated. They gave varying stories in their even own interview about what it was about. So how can we even trust what they're asking and what they're saying? We just don't know. And I just feel like with the whole kerfluffle with the palace, with the woman saying there was a racist situation, and then just, I feel like, just lobbying that on social media, and then I think they've tried to follow up with her and stuff, and that's been challenging. And so I feel like it was almost like just a stab, and she just wanted to cause as much chaos as possible. And now we have Harry and Meghan's trailer drop and everything. It just feels like a very concerted effort to try and be just damaging to the rest of the royals. And again, at the end of the day, I don't understand why Harry and Meghan don't realize that hurts them too at the end of the day, but they really don't. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. Okay. Boston in December. Why? It's strange. Yeah, I don't know, because they did their other event, I think, in the fall. So September, October last year. So like December here, guys, it's cold. It's thankfully there's no blizzard. If there was a blizzard, my threshold for chill is minimal, and I hate snow. Well, I don't hate it. I don't want to be in it. I like looking at it. I think it's pretty. I don't want to walk in it. I don't want to walk in it. So yeah, it was just not what I want to see. Oh, this is an interesting question. Is Catherine tall? So she was pretty far away, so it was kind of difficult to tell. But I will say she did seem fairly tall. I mean, she's definitely taller than me. I'm 5'6", so I've always heard she's more like 5'8", 5'9" territory, and I could definitely see that being the case. I didn't notice her really like towering over people, but she definitely is tall. But because I always thought, initially that she was, like 5'11", 5'10". No, she's more, I think, 5'8", 5'10", 5'8", 5'9", and I think that's basically, from what I saw, I think that's about right. Obviously, William's pretty tall. He's 6'3", but it was hard to feel his height from where I was, because I know he is very tall, because he towers over her, especially if she's wearing flats. He really does kind of tower over her. So it's just kind of funny. John Alvarez asked, "What's your opinion about Archie's new picture?" I think you're talking about the one from the live stream that we saw. I just think it's weird. I thought it was even weirder that the Daily Mail blurred out his face. I'm like, okay, because everybody else has seen his face, so what's the point of blurring it out? It's just weird. It's just weird. And he looks, honestly, poor kid looks confused, and not like, he's like, he's like side eyeing like somebody else. So it's not the greatest picture of him, but again, it's all about, to me, the kids have always been more about them being a cash cow than it is actually about the kids. So this is from S. Kimsey. "Is it true they're going to meet with Biden?" Yes. So they are going to meet sometime on Friday, and I don't know exactly where that'll be, because I was wondering if it was going to be today, because I was like, well, there's some downtime because we had the 2 earlier engagements confirmed, but beyond that, I wasn't sure. And so I thought, oh, that would be good. So yeah, we'll see when that is tomorrow. It might be right before. Sandra asks, "Are you meeting any followers in Boston? Would love to go." Yes, I was thinking about doing it maybe Saturday or Sunday evening, or maybe afternoon, because that would be just easier. And Catherine and William are finally out of town, and so that'll be nice to have that little break and little fun. I was gonna try to figure out, there's Elephant and Castle here, which is like an English pub, because a lot of the pubs are Irish, so I feel like it's kind of I should go to English pub or an English restaurant. And I've been to Elephant and Castle in Washington, D.C., and it was good. So, but we'll see exactly. Okay, and Brian, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so kind. I really, really do appreciate it. And okay, we got Monique Johnson. No, it's a state dinner in DC right now, so Biden will probably be tomorrow. Yes, so he will be tomorrow. So that will be that's when we'll see it. So that will be I mean, when you have obviously now the Prince and Princess of Wales and President Biden in the same place, that is a huge like just security thing. So there'll be a lot of things like closing down and everything. So that'll be interesting. Okay, so Katie M asks, what were the women giving Catherine? So they were giving her some sort of flower thing they made, is my understanding, but it was difficult to see exactly. But it was some sort of I think I saw somewhere else somebody posted it was like a paper flower type of thing. So that was what it looked like they were giving. All right, Alexis86, thank you so much for the tip. Do you think Casey regrets marrying Diana due to the damage to his reputation from her and now Harry? Love your videos. I mean, it's hard to say that because he does love his sons, and you feel that like people regret somebody being married, but hey, they have children with them, and so I feel like that's a hard thing to say. I think what Charles and perhaps even William is regretting is really not pushing Harry perhaps better or figuring out more of a way to disentangle him from Meghan Markle sooner. I think that's more of what Charles struggles with is how could they avoid how could have they avoided this Meghan Markle situation entirely? How could they have gotten her out of his life faster or just minimized or contained or just decided from the jump to say, well, if you guys are going to get married, I'm sorry, you're going to have to, she's just figure it out how to manage her better. But I think I always come back to, and I feel this because I believe the best intention of people most of the time. I mean, I'm very cautious too, but I really do appreciate the sentiment where they're like, they don't know what to do. The palace, the royals don't know what to do with somebody who is just as nasty as Meghan Markle is. Like they just don't know what to do. And I understand that. What do you do when somebody does not want to help themselves, does not want to help you, doesn't care about you? I think that is a huge question. And I do totally feel the royals, like they just didn't know what to do. And I just, again, really do feel that. I think that is I feel sorry for them in that way. But I think, yeah, I think they would prefer to get Diana. I think Charles regrets not being able to marry the person that he loved, but I think, he does love Diana, I think more as a friend than ever as, kind of a lover, if you want to put it that way. And so it's just the whole situation, I think, is just sad. I especially feel for, Meghan and Harry's children, whenever their breakup happens. I mean, I think we think the Wales's divorce was toxic. I think this one in many ways could be far worse because I feel like although Diana was manipulative too, I feel like Meghan's even more so and just more destructive in a lot of ways. Carla Tomlinson, thank you so much for the tip. You are so kind. Thank you so much. Nakara, hi Brittany, you are awesome. Love your energy and lovely smile. Will you remember this day forever? I definitely will. I'm looking forward to the day when I can like actually meet them and shake their hands. I think that'll be cool. I'm hoping maybe that happens tomorrow. Who knows? But I think it's just a great opportunity to really. This is like what I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed like watching the royals, following the royals. So it was fun to actually be there in person and feel what it's like to be there when they're getting, the flowers and, the security is there and everything. I think that was really fun. I'm looking forward to the day where maybe I can do that full time and just follow them around. I think that would be so fun. Oh, Grateful BY, thank you so much for the tip. You are so kind. Okay, and then we have Deirdre Forbes asked, has any media asked about the Netflix drop? Not that I heard. I was thinking that maybe we would hear something because obviously the day after the Oprah Winfrey interview, a media person asked about, the allegations of racism, and William famously said, we are very much not a racist family. So we didn't have anything like that today, but obviously we don't have the press is very, and everything has been very managed. And we obviously have the Royal Rota, but I'm sure at that event there were more media there from just general British outlets because of the whole kerfluffle over the interview. So I feel like there just weren't as many of those type of people. And obviously you had the local media there, the American media. I just don't think they would have been I mean, I'm sure they wanted to ask, but I think, any smart person would know you wouldn't get much of a reaction because they are very unfazed, and that is exactly what they need to be. Okay, so let's see. Maya, in America, there is division between the parties, which seems into everything. Democrats believe the Markles, but others won't. Sad. So I think there is, to a certain extent, Harry and Meghan do appeal to more to one party than the other, but I don't think that's definitely entirely the case. But it is definitely that they very much have a agenda that really does skew in one particular direction. Although I will say I was least disappointed, at least in somewhat. And I don't know if Catherine and William had anything to do with this or not, but more that it seemed there was definitely a very leftist slant yesterday that might have been just the city of Boston. And I've always, considered Catherine and William must remain apolitical, even here. Even though this isn't their country, I think it's best for them to remain apolitical. So, Biko asks, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so kind. I really do appreciate it. All right, gratefully BY asks, where is Pippa? So Pippa is at home with my sister, and she is doing pretty well. She's figuring out her little broken paw pretty well. So she broke her elbow. For you guys who don't know, that's my dog, and she's my little co-host on the lives, but she hasn't been. She has been mostly recovering and not being able to jump on things, which is really hard for her because she likes jumping. So Gemini 523 asks, what is a Royal Rota? So the Royal Rota is a group of reporters who focus exclusively on the royals, basically. So like Emily Andrews, Emily Nash, Richard Palmer, somewhat Richard Eden, Chris Shipp. There's what is his name? Robert Jobson, maybe, I think is his name. I'm blanking on it. And there's a young guy from, I think, one of the Great Britain news sources. I can't remember who he works for now, but I did see him yesterday because he kind of stands out because he was so young and he was kind of standing there looking a little lost for a second. He looks like he's in his early 20s. So those are the Royal Rota, and they make up this core group of royal reporters. So they represent the major news sources, and then you also have, usually a certain group of photographers. One is Samir. I usually see his name on Getty Images, and obviously Chris Jackson as well. Chris Jackson is the one who does a lot of pictures for the royal family, and his wife was or is still an assistant to Kate. So his wife was Natasha, and she was an assistant to Kate for quite a bit. So they're just make up the core end. So basically all the royal information comes from that core group. In terms of reporting, it comes from that core group. So, yeah, that's what the Royal Rota is, and it's definitely pretty exclusive group. So even though there were American media there, the American media were on the same side I was, so they weren't really involved in the Royal Rota. So again, that was kind of interesting thing. Julie says, when you get to Netflix, do you have releases from everyone at their wedding reception giving permission to air that footage? I actually found that to be a really interesting question because we had an AA shot that was clearly from Harry and Meghan's wedding reception. And I just wonder, well, how much are they going to use from other people? Do they get permission to share, photos from Catherine and William at an event that Catherine and William were absolutely knew for sure was private? I mean, I don't think Meghan wants any attention to be taken from her. So she may or may not include Catherine or William unless she finds a picture that she's like, oh, look, she's looking nasty at me or something. That's I feel like what Meghan would be looking for in that particular situation. But what I find concerning as well is apparently there are family members who are quote unquote going to talk. And it could be definitely Eugenie. That could be definitely one of the options. And if Eugenie did talk, or any of the major royals did talk, or somebody in the family, like I want to tell them that was dumb. That was just an insane mistake, because unfortunately, once you are recorded saying something, it becomes really, really difficult to take it back, or it could be misconstrued by the editor. They can do a lot of magic in editing, and your comments that you thought were maybe banal or benign can turn sinister based on the editor's whim. And so this may not be usually may wake up and watch it and go, "But that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant." And then she's thrown under the bus and is ostracized as well. Because at this point, I think the monarchy really does have to circle the wagons and go, okay, and I really hope they do this, is like they need to just cut Harry and Meghan off. They just need to do away with just all this and just, I know they can't Charles can't personally strip the tiles. It has to go through Parliament. They're working on something, I think, to make it easier for him to do so himself rather than going through Parliament. But at this point, Harry and Meghan, they're just a drag on just the whole system. And they just really need to the oxygen needs to be taken from them, and I just don't think that I just think it's damaging to let them just keep keep, just chatting and whining and complaining, although I think to a certain extent, again, there is some strategy in allowing them to dig their own grave, because I think more and more people are just less amused with Harry and Meghan, and again, I feel like this will not do them any favors in the long run. There was like one note, and I liked it. I happened to see this Elsie from here too. She says, "What about Megan crying on her Hermes blanket? I feel better now." Yeah, it's just like Megan crying and trying to look all emotional, and she has like a $3,000 blanket behind her. I don't know about you, but I do not have a $3,000 Hermes blanket. Actually, funny thing, I did look because I do like some designer things. There's an Hermes store here, so I think it would be fun to go down, and I can let you guys know, check it out, and let you guys know how ridiculous and expensive that blanket is if they have one. And it's just something that I feel like is so kitschy and so just an obviously inflated sign of wealth to have something that ludicrous. Because Megan really all she's wanted is fame and fortune. That's so totally and completely evident. That's all she's ever cared about, all she's ever wanted. And Harry was a sucker. He was replaceable. He was because he was replaced by the other guy. You see that in the picture of Megan posing the exact same way, almost the exact same expression between Harry and her last boyfriend. And that tells me that Megan sees her men as replaceable because she'll do the same exact thing with either guy. Doesn't matter who the guy is, she'll just do this exact same thing. And again, that's just how she is. And I think it would be funny because I think people have said, oh, that's when she found out about her miscarriage. I was like, no, no, no. That's probably when she found out about Roe v. Wade. That's what she was, and the Dobbs decision. That's, I'm sure, what she was crying and looking so emotional about. So it was just, yeah, just really, I just think pathetic how desperate they are to want to like supplant the royal family and try to tear it down, because it's like the royal family is the only thing that gives them like any influence. Without it, what are they? They're a C-list actress and a guy who left the army. That's, who didn't even go to college. That's all they are. So it's like, what is their skill? And I think this is going to show too that they don't have any talent. That the only thing they could do to market themselves basically is talk about themselves, and that's it. So I think that's kind of sad. Okay, Monique Johnson, Brittany, not all women of color are not fans of hers, nor do we like her, LOL. Yes, I know. I've heard many women say they're just not a fan, and I don't believe you at all. She's just, I am not a fan. I just can't, like, once you start really like paying attention, it's like, how can you be a fan of hers? I don't even understand why people are fans of hers. And again, you even saw this in some of the pictures, I felt like, from the documentary. I just felt like some of those pictures and the poses they were doing was so juvenile. It's like, I can't see even William and Catherine on a silly private moment jumping up in the air and smiling like they're 20. I mean, maybe they do, and maybe I just don't think that, maybe I'm just don't have enough fun or something. I don't know. But I just find most of their pictures just like juvenile. It's just weird. So Evo asks, who gives a darn about someone else's love story? It's only important to the couple involved. Yes, I've come to the conclusion, I think Meghan is more obsessed with her love story, the idea of her love story with Harry, than actually Harry or their marriage. I think she's more in love with the idea of their love story. And I don't think there is anything that I just think it's bizarre, because she really does think she's like this like her marriage to Harry was earth-shattering. That's I think what she truly believes, because she talks about in the trailer, and I can't remember the exact quote, something about, well, when it comes to something as important as this, why don't you want to hear our side? And it's like, as important as what? You have a marriage, you're royal, like you're not saving the planet, you're not doing diddly squat. Like, why does she create it and seem like she is so trying to make it sound like that everybody in the world is just waiting on bated breath for her um for her statements on things, her ideas on things and everything. It's like, no, I don't care. Like, I really don't care about you to a certain extent, except for the fact that you are damaging the monarchy. That's what bothers me, because I'm a monarchist. I like royals. I like want royalty to continue, because I want to see pretty tiaras and pretty gowns and pretty jewelry. In addition to the fact that I think they do an amazing work, and I see the consistency of a head of state that is not dragged down into the muck of politics. They can stay above it, and that's where they need to stay. And so I feel like the Royals do that exceptionally well. And I feel like Harry and Meghan, because Meghan's so desperate for that celebrityness, that that is just her obsession is that. Oh, Cindy, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so kind. You are so kind. That's very, very nice of you. All right, Nancy, perhaps Boston isn't the best place for William and Catherine to visit. Most of the rest of the U.S. would love for them to visit. Yeah, I don't think Boston is necessarily a bad place, but I do definitely think that some people took advantage of Catherine's and William's visits to make political statements, and I'm not a fan of that, because I mean, it's just, again, what can they do? They're trying to do something great, and you're like, well, you're talking about colonization and stuff. It's like, well, did Catherine and William colonize anybody? No. What are they supposed to do about that now? I'm sorry, but it's like, what are they supposed to do about that now? Those are the kind of things I have a tough time with, because it's like things that happened in the past, and there were, they weren't a part of that. They just weren't. So I don't see why the need to drag them when they're publicly there at your city, representing your city, bringing attention to your city, and you try to drag them down. I just don't see what the point of that is. Jess, hi. So I've got I've got her rewatched The Dater's Handbook. Meghan in that is her with Harry to me. Her best thing shows her true colors. Yeah, I've seen a part of that. It's cringy, and it's kind of like her with that guy, and they're like, she's trying to get him to sleep with her. It's just like very sexual. I feel like, for whatever, I don't know if that movie was PG-13 or R or something. I imagine it was PG-13, or I don't know, whatever. But I just thought, I was just like watching something that was like, she's like going down his body. It's like, it's very, I don't know. It's just like, feels like a lot, but it felt like, to me, watching that and watching her, sex scenes on Suits, that she's very comfortable doing those kind of things. And she has no problem showing it. That was the impression that I got. And I will say as well, I thought this was interesting, because I was looking it up on Netflix for the rest of the video that I'm going to do, is that it says that the show is rated MA, so mature. So I imagine most of that is related to language, or perhaps, the talk of, Meghan Markle's alleged, mental health issues that she claims that she had and everything. But I just wonder too, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something, and maybe this is just me, because I'm just, I don't use crass language more in my everyday life or anything like that. And I don't use this on this channel, because I always thought, well, kids might see it, or, children might, come across it or something. I always want my language to be clean on here. That's just something that I feel better about. But I'm also like, I don't really want to see, Harry dropping a bunch of F-bombs and everything, because I feel like that makes you, that's just not something I am excited to see, really. So I'm just not a fan of that, but that's just maybe me. That's just my personal preference. That's not something I'm really looking forward to. Lindsay Heath says, I'm so over Meghan. Love your videos. Do you think that Harry will ever figure it out? Hope you have a wonderful time. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for the tip, Lindsay. You are so sweet. I think Harry is starting to figure it out. I think it's starting to dawn on him. I think it started to dawn on him around the time of his grandmother's death. Maybe not initially, but I think he'll come to deeply resent her for her not allowing him to see his grandmother or grandfather before their death. Now, granted, his grandfather would have been harder, but he was in the country when his grandmother died. There's no reason whatsoever that he couldn't have visited her literally the day before her death. And that will haunt him forever. That will haunt him forever. You can't get that time back. You can't get that moment back. And I think in conjunction with Meghan, that's a decision he made. And maybe he made the decision not to go because the palace said, I'm sorry, but unfortunately Meghan cannot come. We would love to see you, but you cannot bring Meghan. And he's like, well, if Meghan can't come, then I can't go. Because we did see that the next day, Harry and Meghan announced, well, Meghan's coming. And the palace is like, no, she's not. And so they basically said, no. And I paused it and wondered on my video is if there was a fight between Harry and Meghan over Meghan going, and that's the reason he was delayed getting to his mother's side and missing the flight with his brother and his uncles and his aunt. And so, I mean, it's just, again, really, really difficult to know exactly, but I think he'll come to resent her at some point because that loss and that wondering will gnaw at him. It may not gnaw him now. It maybe take a couple years, maybe a couple months, but I wonder if it is. And I do feel them start being separated more. And I feel like too, I can't imagine that there's not a lot of tension going on behind the scenes. You cannot have a dynamic like that and not have tension and drama. So at some point that will just start to wear on you. And when everything's all about her, and it's like, well, what about me? What about me? Like that will come back to haunt him too. So I just feel like it's all just not, not great. All right, Lori Shelley. Oh, thank you so much for the tip. Empty vessels. Yeah, I feel like Harry and Meghan just talk a lot of hot air. They just talk nonsense and they just think they are the pinnacle of like they're spouting Shakespeare. And it's like, you guys are spouting nonsense. What are you talking about? So I just feel like that'll be more of what we see. All right, Kim Rose, thank you so much for this super sticker. You are so kind. All right, Martin asks about the picture of her sitting on the sink. Oh yeah, so that was just that weird picture of them like, it looks like they're going to their the Royal Marines ball that they did the last time they were in the UK, and I found it kind of weird because I guess maybe the cape thing goes over the top because she had a cape thing as part of that dress. I guess maybe it attached. I thought it was one piece anyways. But what got to me, and I think I'll explore this more in my video I'm going to finish filming here after this live, is that like this has been in the works for a long time. Maybe from the beginning, Meghan always planned to make a tell-all documentary about being a royal and being part of the royal family. And she perhaps thought, oh, they'd love that because they'd get the fly on the wall experience. The royals would be like all over it. And then again, it just goes to show how little she understood about any of it and how everything about it was taking advantage of the position of the role that she was given to make money. Everything has been about making money. From the jump, it's all been about money, 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 and fame, 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 fortune, all those sorts of things. And so I just feel like that's really quite sad because, she damaged a family in the process. Like that's just, I feel like so awful in a way. It's like, they gave you everything and then you act like they're the worst people in the world. It's like, but they gave you everything. The only reason that anybody cares about Meghan Markle is because you managed to bag yourself a prince and through marriage, you guys got a title. Like that's the only reason Oprah Winfrey ever gave you the time of day. It's because of that. If you went to Oprah Winfrey as Meghan Markle, she wouldn't give a crap about you. Same thing with your mom. She would not even probably be in the same room as your mother without that title. Oprah would have said, why do I need to spend time with Doria Ragland? I don't care about her. So it's just like one of those things, I don't know, that bothers me too, that I feel like Meghan never acknowledges that, hey, the only reason you're anywhere is because of the man you married. And she acts like she's a feminist and she achieved this on your own. I was like, no. It's the dude you married. Give me a freaking break. Oh my goodness. Like again, lack of talent, I feel like is a huge issue for them, is the lack of talent, because that'll continue to bite them in the behind, I think, is that huge issue. So looking through here, so Susan says Harry has burned bridges to all his friends and families in the UK. Honestly, it's really sad. And it is. He has distanced himself from everyone, all his really close friends. I think some people are still kind of sort of friends with him. But, again, if you're smart and you have connections to the royal family, you would want to keep those. Like, like why would you try to cozy up to Harry and Meghan? Like, they can't give you anything. They're not the future king and queen. They're nothing. They're just a two-bit actress and a former, army officer. That's all they are. So again, it's just this idea that they can. It's for me. I would go with William and Catherine because again, the power resides in the crown, and Harry and Meghan can try the best they can to steal this. And this, yes, may be a challenging time and everything, but the crown will most likely prevail because it is the crown. And Harry and Meghan, what they can't do is they can't walk around in tiaras. They can't do X, Y, and Z. So this is just a huge, huge thing and a huge just difference in everything. All right. Drat, is it true the queen had bone cancer and they kept it from Harry because they couldn't trust him? That might be true. I thought it might be super interesting and super sad if part of the reality TV show is that they discuss that. That I think if they knew that and they shared that, that would be really, really sad, I think, because that just, again, it's betraying the family, the inner trust of the family with that. And I don't think it's like a terrible secret or anything, but it is just something really sad to see. All Royal Daily Tea, thank you so much for the tip. You are so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yay. All right. So exciting. Thank you. All right. Rebecca Val Evesio. Yeah, my pronunciations are good. Were they invited to Sandringham for Christmas? I don't know. I don't know why they would be invited in the first place. I get it. Somebody said Charles is like interested in showing a united front. I was like, but there's no united front to show. Like, it doesn't exist. Even at the funeral, they were all very separated. So this idea that they were going to show this really big united front is just a little silly. Oh, and Royal Daily Tea, congratulations too on hitting 20,000 subscribers. That's so exciting. That's so exciting as well. All right, Jill, the blanket was the ultimate cringe. Yes, it was. It was so cringy. so cringy. Yeah, it was just one of those things. Yeah, and Yolande says too, what about the Hermes blanket? I mentioned that a bit earlier. I just think it's the ultimate in cringe. And it's just the ultimate in nouveau riche. So that is my thought on it. And like I said, there's an Hermes here, so I may go and see what the blanket's like in person. Just think that would be funny. That would just be really, really funny. Because I'm just a nerd and I just think that would be funny. KM Rose, I can't remember if I thanked you for the super sticker, but thank you so much because I see it there. All right, Dee Dee Watson, thank you so much for the tip. You are so kind. I really do appreciate it. And Nancy, thank you so much for the super sticker. Oh, you are just so, so sweet. Night Owl number 2 says, Brittany, please watermark your photos. Yes, I probably should. Somebody mentioned that, and I was like, oh, darn, I should have, especially with the really good one of Catherine that I managed to get. That was really, really fun. So that was really interesting. So Rich says Fergie is invited to the castle for Christmas. So this is up to Sandringham. And yes, I saw that. And I thought that was super, super exciting because I thought what I find really sad about Sandringham to an extent is I think it's really cool, but also allowed families to kind of separate. So I do feel like it's really exciting now that that Fergie can go because that way she's not separated from her girls. Although I think she was pretty close when she got to stay. So I think that's really cool. Let's see. LK says, remember the Boston Tea Party? I think that's why they booed because they still have a chip on their shoulders. That could be true. I actually went to this store and it's around this. I think it may be Harvard Square because it's not in Harvard, but whatever this square is, it's kind of by the north end of town, but not. Anyways, so they have a lot of shopping area and stuff. And there's this place that has like old coins and bills and stuff. And they have actually like a note, like a note, a dollar thing from Boston, Massachusetts that was actually printed by Paul Revere, which I thought was really cool. It was $1,000 if anybody's interested, which I was like, I was not. But I thought that would be funny. JD, you got some great shots. Yes, I got some pretty good shots. I don't want to toot my own. Well, I actually got one really good shot, and the video is good. My other shots, I gotta work on it, guys. I gotta figure out how to do the pictures and the shots and everything, and just figure out what works best. So Patty K says, so they were paid $100 million for 6 episodes on Netflix. Yeah, so I feel like, yeah, they were paid 600. Like, I don't think they weren't paid at all, like all of it up front at first. I don't think Netflix would be silly enough to do that. Instead, I think what happened is that they were paid that amount. That amount is contingent on how their content performs. Were they able to get did their content perform well? Their production costs. That's what a lot of that money is for. And I think whatever they make on top of it is something else. So it'll be interesting to see how much that does actually turn out. I think that would be super interesting to see. So let's go right over here. Something else. Where did it go? I'm trying to scroll through here and see if Rebecca says, I can't listen to her voice. It drives me nuts. Yeah, I think it drives everybody nuts. So Zulama, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so kind. You're so kind. Hola, Brittany. I always like to watch your videos. Please say hi back to me. Hello, Brenda. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. So yeah, and then Royal Daily Tea, get an Air fake one on eBay. LOL. Yeah, I probably won't buy a fake one. I don't want an Hermes blanket. Why would you want one? But I just thought it would be funny to go into the store and check out the real thing. Because I tried to do that with the Cartier necklace that Meghan wore that costs like, I got varying dollars amount, 16 to 40 grand. And I honestly wasn't as impressed with the Justin Clow collection as I thought it would be, because I thought I almost wanted to get a ring just to show I'm like hard as nails, because they have it's like a circular nail thing, which is kind of cool. But then I was also like, it just seemed chintzy when I put it on. I'm like, I know it's solid gold, so technically, you never had to take it off and stuff. But I was like, you're paying over $1,000 for something that seems chintzy. It just seems like a lot of money. So, but I may step in there just to see. It would be fun too to check out and like just put on like the watch that either Diana has or that Catherine had for a while, because I just do think that's, I don't know, I think that's fun. I like designer stuff. What can I say? Brittany, I just love your channel. Oh, thank you so much, Monique. How could these issues affect William and George's reign? Has Harry ever thought of that? No. Harry and Meghan don't think far ahead. I don't think Meghan, I think in a lot of ways thinks she's this Machiavelli type figure, but she really stinks at it, because I've always said, and I've always believed, that if you do want to play the monarchy game, there's a couple rules. It's always a hierarchy. There's always a king at the top, the next in line. The hierarchy reigns supreme, because otherwise the system can't function. The Middle Eastern countries are different. They do kind of choose who goes the next in line, but there are politics involved behind it. And that raises the stakes too, because if you're friends with, anyways, so that's complicated. Number two is that because it's a hierarchy, you have to play a lot of different people. You have to play the heir, the king, the next in line, whoever that might happen to be, either the spare, or basically like in William and George's case, so William's the heir and George is the next heir. So you have to play all these people, and you have to get on all their good sides. And that is complicated. And I think that's what makes royalty kind of fun, is trying to figure out how to navigate all those different nuances, which I feel like is really challenging. But Harry and Meghan just don't even think that far ahead. I don't even think they really thought of what they would do when the Queen died. Because I think that's like, they're like, oh, because they always did this thing where they kept going, well, the Queen's great, but Charles and William are bad. And it's like, Yeah, but Charles and William are next. So you guys know the queen will die. And then when she dies, that protection you guys are betting on by being friendly with her dies too. And when it comes to the rest of the royals, I mean, Archie and Lily, I think based on the documentary, at least or the trailer we saw, won't get titles at all. And they could have had titles, I think, if Harry and Meghan had played their cards right, which they didn't. So because again, I think Meghan could be a better Machiavelli figure, but she's so narcissistic, she can't make it happen. Because she's so consumed with herself and her self-image, she can't think strategically the way you need to. She can't think all those 12 steps ahead. Because, in another court system, let's say in the Middle Ages, her actions might have gotten her like beheaded or something. That's not what I'm advocating for at all, but I'm just saying these these games you have to play within a system of a monarchy. Meghan, because she's so self-consumed, cannot play those games correctly, and ergo will always lose. Um, in the court of public opinion, in terms of the future for her children and everything, she will lose because she cannot think like Machiavelli. She just keeps stepping in it, and she's so consumed with trying to change the narrative constantly. That's what she's doing all the time, is trying to change the narrative, trying to get people to believe her truth, that it just doesn't work and makes them look worse and worse all the time. So I just think this won't get any better. Hi, Winter G. Thanks you so much for the tip. You're so kind. Hello, Brittany. If William were king, would he have removed the titles already? I think William would have pressed for it more. So here's the complicated thing. Yes, William cannot, or Charles cannot pull the titles from Harry and Meghan. It has to go through Parliament. And yes, I don't think he could pull Harry's prince title. But here's the thing. The royal family needs to push for it. Unless Harry and Meghan did something so constitutionally bad, the politicians decide, no, we have to act. We have to do this now. We have to shut this down. This is damaging the UK abroad. That then they would perhaps do that. But without the royal family, because it is also a family matter, without them saying, we want this done now, Parliament's just going to sit on it because it is a family dynamic. And you don't really want to engage in family stuff if you don't have to. And so, so I think they'll sit on it. But if William and Charles start going, and I think William would have said, I want this done. Help us get this done. I think the Parliament would have gone, yeah, we're totally 100% behind you. But again, they are playing, Parliament has to sit on this because they don't want to offend the monarchy. They don't want to offend Harry and Meghan at this point. They just are kind of in a hold position. But I think if William was king, I think stuff would have happened to their titles already if William was still king. If William was king, I think Charles is dragging his feet because he wants to. He knows that his son will eventually become crawling back to him. That he knows that, so he wants to. He wants to give his son an outlet. But unfortunately, I think it was Dan Wooten who wrote an article said he cannot do that, and I think that's entirely true. At this point, he just has to let it go. You just have to let it go. Harry may come crawling back to you at some point, but you have to let it go. Because at this point, Harry and Meghan are damaging your future. Because it's not just a regular family. You're talking about the future of a monarchy, a figure of state. So you have to think like a figure of state. You can't think like a father anymore. That's happened throughout history in various royal families. And that has to happen now. Charles has to come to this conclusion that I love my son. He will always have a route back, but we need to circle the wagons. We need to protect ourselves. And unfortunately, Harry and Meghan, they don't care. And if we want to survive, we have to care. We have to do this to survive. Because at this point, again, Harry and Meghan just dragged the whole thing into disrepute. So I've said too that they can amend the letters of patent, because I think there is a legal argument to say that Archie and Lily do not automatically get titles because they were not born grandchildren of the monarch. They were born the great-grandchildren of the monarch. And ergo, just because the queen died doesn't mean they automatically get those titles. But I think they should amend the letters of patent to make it clear they can't get it unless they live full-time in the UK and go to UK schools, which I don't think Meghan will do. And I think they need to work on telling Harry and Meghan, hey, you know what? You can do your Hollywood thing. Harry can still go by Prince Harry because he was born that way. But unfortunately, Meghan, you no longer have the Duchess of Sussex title, because let's say they pull the Duke and Duchess of Sussex title, but you can't go by Princess Henry either, and you definitely can't go by Princess Meghan. You're just Meghan Markle, and I think that's the greatest. That's the greatest way to go. That's the easiest way to go. It is just I think that's what they have to do. All right, Elizabeth Marie, thank you so much for the tip. And do you think Meghan Markle owns any Balenciaga? Because Satan is her daddy. Oh yeah, I don't think Satan's her daddy, but does she own Balenciaga? Of course she does. I'm sure she does. This woman's been obsessed with brands and labels, and I can honestly say I like designer labels too. Not gonna deny it. Me and Megan have a little bit of that in common, but I imagine she definitely does. But Megan, of course, is somebody who goes with the prevailing winds all the time, so she will claim to be horrified by Balenciaga while secretly going to the store and buying more. That's Megan. All right, Jess said it's good video. That may be in a reference to a different one, but if you like this video, yay, thank you. Thank you. These are always so fun. Let's go see. Laura K, I followed the royal since 1980 and so sad to see the path Harry has taken. If Diana was alive, he wouldn't be in this position. Sad. Yeah, I think Diana and Meghan would get along like water and oil. Like it would be combustion. I don't think they would get along in the slightest. I think Harry's assertion that they would be thick as thieves is delusion, grand delusion. Because I think Diana would have hated Meghan, partly because they have some in common, some of their worst characteristics. But Meghan has them in spades, while as Diana had shades of them. So I think they would have hated each other. I think they would have really, really hated each other. John Alvarez asks, this is a great question. How is the food in Boston? It's good. Boston has fantastic Italian food. I was here last time and I had great Italian food. And so, Kimberly says there's no sound. So hopefully maybe the rest of you guys can hear. So Boston has great food, great Italian food. I'm a huge fan of Italian food. And I did get a pizza today. It was a quattro formaggi. It was from, I think, Quattro even. And it was pretty good. I kind of debated getting something with red sauce. So I'm a little bit kicking myself I didn't, but the bread was excellent. But there is a place I may have to ask a former coworker. She had recommended this Italian place, which was fabulous. They had the best dipping stuff ever. I love dipping stuff like oil, and they had Parmesan cheese and like red flakes and like all sorts of like spices and stuff in the dipping sauce. And it was marvelous. It was so good. Unbelievably good. So it was just so awesome. So yeah, I've been taking pictures and I should post some more. It's just like hard to get everything together. Thank you for sharing your visit with us, Miss Carmen said. Yeah, I'm so glad I can share this with you guys a little bit. It's just so fun to be able to do this because, I mean, guys, this is awesome. This is so fun, and I'm so glad because I can't do everything. Do everything here. Real Daily T asks, do you think Meghan will use Lady Susan Hussey in her speech next week, play on the racism? She might. Again, it just plays into her narrative, I feel like, a little bit too conveniently, because I even had somebody on YouTube saying, well, now, we have this story, so the racism allegations are confirmed. I was like, no. This is one instance, and I think there's two ways you could read the Lady Hussey situation. Number one, you could read it as it was an unconscious or conscious bias and racism that she was moving towards. So you could also just say that she was curious. A woman had an outfit on that, seemed to indicate she was representing something that she had. And you can see in a lot of her fashion, she has an outfit on that looks very much like she's representing a particular culture. And so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for Lady Hussey or anyone to ask, well, where are you from? Like, what are you representing? And I think too, yes, maybe she was insensitive and everything. Maybe she could have asked the questions better, should have let it go. But, I just have a hard time throwing an 83-year-old woman under the bus for asking some questions. And I also think too, if you're looking for something negative, that's one thing. And again, I think that's something that should have been discussed and held privately. To go so public with it, I feel like makes it look more like a publicity stunt than anything. Because again, you have Martin Short. I go back to the Martin Short example. He's asked about how his wife is doing. His wife is dead. What does he do? He goes, yeah, she's great. And then I don't know if he told Kathy Lee Gifford after the break or one of the producers, like, hey, his wife has died. And they came back from a break. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And he's like, oh, it's fine. I think we need to give people grace at times, because not everybody's perfect. Not everybody says the things they should in the right moments. And I think that's something to remember. Oh, Denise, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so kind. So Harry and Meghan are separated, or was it a publicity stunt? So I come at it from two ways. So one of the stories is that they were separating their assets to a certain extent, and famous people do that. They do separate their assets the best that they can, and so it gives them more tax purposes. Whether they mess with their cash. That's what celebrities and very rich people do. But when it comes to them actually separating, it's difficult to tell. But I have always come down on the fact of, I don't think they have anything in common besides their quote unquote charitable works. I don't think they have anything in common, really. I mean, they both are divorced. They are both children of divorce, but they are, I think, wildly different people at the end of the day. And I think Meghan showed Harry what he wanted to see rather than who she really was. She played a character for him. So I think when you look at all that, how can they stay together for a long time? Because I don't feel like everything about them is based on such like high emotion and passion, and that dies. Catherine and William, at the end of the day, I think they're fantastic friends. And I think those are the marriages that last longer, is when you're a friend, because that passion fades. That, high intensity love does fade. But what you're left with, I think, is a deep, the great couples are left with a deep, deep friendship, because that can survive you through the various challenges of life. But when it comes to like marriage, if you don't have anything in common, like, I like to go shopping. I don't think I could deal very well if I had a spouse that, his favorite thing to do was to go hunting all the time, and he wanted me to go with him all the time. I'm not an outdoor girl. I can do it once or twice, but I cannot do it. I'm not a sleeping outdoors kind of girl. I like glamping. Glamping I can do. Like camping, roughing it, camping I can't do. And so if that's something that's a super big passion of his, I knew couples who went camping like that a lot. And obviously they both enjoyed it. I don't enjoy that. And, Harry used to like hunting. He used to like going drinking with his friends. And he's given up everything, like so much of what he used to do to please Meghan. He's left his family, his country, most of his activities. He sold his hunting guns, maybe some of them that belonged to his grandfather. And he's given up all this for Meghan. So he's given up a lot of himself for Meghan. And granted, obviously, sometimes, there's certain things that, spouses, people who, fall in love and get married and everything, they're like, oh, I don't really like that you do that, but I tolerate it. But I think at the end of the day, you need to like doing the same activities. And I don't feel like Meghan and Harry have any of those things in common. So I think that's a bad thing. So Maureen Griffin, thank you so much for the tip. You are so sweet. You said she's supposed to be there for a violence against women event. And so this is a woman who made the racist allegations, and her supporters are claiming she suffered violence from Lady Hussey. That's ridiculous and demeaning of the event. Yeah, I think so. Again, it's just when you're looking for racism, I think sometimes you can find it. I've always had this perspective too, and thought is that, some people think it's, perhaps racist that they didn't feel like this waiter waited on them in the correct way. And, it could be true, but it also could be that the waiter's terrible, or they're just having a really bad day and they're just not up on it and they're not paying attention. That could totally be the case too. So I think sometimes it just depends on what you are personally reading into the situation and what's actually happening. Now, again, it could go both ways. So, but again, I just really do feel like there's something missing from it. Erica Adams, oh, thank you so much for the tip. You are so sweet. Got here late due to work. How did they look in person? I wish they had come to Texas. This might be a good time. Let's go back to the pictures. They looked really good in person. I feel like, especially Catherine, she looked very pretty in person because I really did try to look very closely at her because I was like, I wanted to be like, okay, this is what she does look like. Does she look like what we think she does? And so this is my tour de force today was this picture. This was a fabulous picture. They're both smiling, great shot from the car. It looks like she's looking directly at me. So I think that's a wonderful, fantastic picture. I'm so excited about that. And so that was just a really, really exciting moment because I was like, my other pictures did not turn out quite as well. Here, let me show you one if I can find it. So this is Catherine. She's going to walk into the car, and oh, she's blurry. The security guy right here, he's in focus. He's in focus. But she's not quite so much. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. But the best, if you haven't seen it yet, I don't think I have it on here. So let me go ahead and remove this from the stream real quick, and I will pull up a video real quick for those of you guys who haven't seen this yet. Is I happened to go the second engagement of the day. I was able to get really close to them, and so here is some of that video here. So I just thought, yeah, she looked really gorgeous in person. I thought they did great with the crowd. So sorry, I'm going backwards a little bit because it is kind of loud because there's a lot of people chatting and stuff. But I just thought it was really, really cool to be able to see her this way and see the staff members and both William and her working and happy and smiling and everything. And I think you can hear her real quick here. I love it when she goes, "Did you all make these?" That's just really, really awesome. So that's super exciting. Again, I apologize that the angles are not super fabulous. So I was actually had a tripod, and I realized I could hold it up in the air and I could get above the crowd because I got there late because my Uber driver couldn't find me and everything. So I got up there, and I realized too I could angle my camera screen down so I can watch and make sure I was actually getting them in the shots, which was super, super exciting because I was really nervous that I would like film nothing. Because that would be really, really terrible to be there and think you're filming something when you're filming nothing. And I'm really glad I got closer to them than I did because I was originally going to just stand across the street and wait for them to drive out, but I'm glad I got closer. I think that was a really good thing. So Elizabeth asked, was that girl that cried on the news in front of you? She was practically hyperventilating. I saw a couple of people who were obviously very like, oh, I saw them. And so there was just a great, huge reaction. Although I will say there was this one woman holding the sign, and everyone, like, for a while, she kept getting it in my shot, and I was like, lady, put the sign down, because she kept going, oh, I need to make sure he sees the sign. I was like, he walked right past you, honey. I think he saw the sign. No offense, but I'm pretty sure they saw the sign. But sometimes they just, they either don't want to react, or it's like, it's like, yeah, that's nice, thank you. But they're not like going to, like, I don't know what she was wanting from that. Maureen, thank you so much for the tip. William has looked great on this tour as well. There were a couple of shots at the Sussex games. He looked hot, actually. Yeah, they both looked great. I think they both looked great. He did too. It was sometimes a bit harder to see him, and I was really looking for Catherine after a while, and she was kind of buried in the people for a bit, so it was sometimes hard to see her. Oh, Jill Jordan asked, what did the sign say? I think it said like, welcome King William and Catherine or something. I can't quite remember. I saw part of it. Like, I could see the back of it. And it was funny because the woman who was holding it gave it to somebody else to hold. So the woman who actually created the sign was out more where I was rather than in the front. I don't know. It was just got a little weird. Kristen Park says, do you think the Prince and Princess of Wales got booed? at the Celtics game, or was it more like a sports banter thing? Sorry if you ever covered it. I love your channel. Yeah, so I did talk about that a little bit earlier, and a couple of people had a good thought that was maybe just an Irish English thing, because there's a lot of Irish Catholics here in Boston, and I think too it could just be a sports thing. It could just be a sports thing. They're like, oh, why are these Royals here? We want to watch the guys play basketball. We don't want to talk about the Royals. So it could have been a bit of that as well. But anyways, yeah, it was super fun though. And again, so glad. I'm hoping tomorrow maybe she does a walkabout again, and maybe I'll get there early enough to the thing at Harvard to shake her hand. I'm not sure. We've been told, where that she's going to visit this particular center, but I don't know exactly where it is. But I'm looking, but sometimes, you just look for the police barricades. The police barricades are what help you. You look for the police, and that's where they'll be. So, I mean, obviously there's been pretty tight security. I was really hoping they would do a walkabout the first time, because I was like right in front of there, but I can see too, it was like a smaller crush of people. So there was just a smaller window, because the other one was like a long street. So I don't know if that helps. The royal recollection, she looked beautiful at the game. She did. I really like it that Chanel vintage blazer. I love that she has some vintage stuff. I think that's really fun. Oh, Ginger Root says one woman just yelled to Catherine, "I love you." It must have been overwhelming and people couldn't help themselves. Yeah, I think it is. And I think it's one of those things too, where it is just, I can't imagine like having somebody go, "I love you." And I'm like, thank you. Like, what do you say? It's just so sweet. And again, it's just, this is how they do it. They're just, they just have to be kind and gracious and everything. And I think it's really good. Jane Kelly. Oh, hi, Jane. Thank you so much. Hi. Terry Nickel. Thank you so much for the tip. You are so sweet. You're doing such a good job. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm glad you think so. Sometimes it's, but I think these are a lot of fun. So I do enjoy doing them quite a bit. Hello, CJ. We're watching you from work in Seoul. Oh, wow. Hope you were warm enough in rain. Yeah, actually the rain night was warmer than today. Although the rain was terrible, the temperature wasn't bad. And I actually was smart, and I invested in a new jacket because my other one was looking a little ratty. And I'm really glad too, because my other jacket it's one of those, not totally a parka thing, but it's got a bit of that parka stuff. But I wore it in the rain one day. It was like pouring rain. And I wore it recently, and it got so soaked. It was like heavy, and I had to put it in the dryer. Like I feel like you could just squeeze and just water would just pour out of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't have that, because I would have died. And because there was a lot of rain yesterday, and thankfully my latest jacket kept me not only nice and warm, but dry. So I'm really, really excited about that. Oh, Jane, thank you so much for the super sticker. You have been here a long time, Jane. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jay Barrett asked, what color is your jacket? My jacket is black. And actually, Chris Jackson took my picture. I don't know if you guys all saw this yesterday. Here, I'll try to pull it up real quickly. And I was even on his Instagram too. So sorry, it's on my phone. So I am, nope, other direction. There you go. That is me right there with the big old camera. That is me in my jacket, trying to hide myself from the rain. So yeah, I didn't know if I could easily do airdrop and change and everything. So that was really, really, really fun. So it was just ended up working really well. So Elsie asked, good, what was the rain jacket? So it was actually a Michael Kors one. It has kind of a fur collar around the hood. And it was, I got it like, I think TJ Maxx, or I think it was TJ Maxx. So yeah, I was just looking for one because they have a lot of jackets in there now. And that was the other one I had, but it's just so old. And I have one that's a smaller size that I no longer fit into. So I was like, well, I need one that's not as big as my burgundy one that's not as small as my blue one. So I got the black one, and I wanted it to be longerish too. So it kept me even warmer. And again, glad I updated. Um, Zani says, Lamb says, Boston. Boston sports fans are something else. I was in Boston when the Red Sox lost against the Yankees. First time I saw a police riot, and I'm from South Africa. That's Boston, they take their sports very, very seriously. So it is a pretty intense thing. So it was a lot of fun. Jane says the Princess of Wales looks beautiful. I bet Megan is seething because she is shallow and will never fit in cute shoes. Yes, Megan, I'm sure there were plates flying in Montecito. Because again, I think Megan thought she could be queen, even though that's not how monarchies work. That's what she thought. And unfortunately, Catherine will just always outshine her. And that's not just because Catherine is more fantastic or anything than Meghan. Catherine will be queen. You just cannot compete. It's a hierarchy. And the more Harry and Meghan try to compete, they just look terrible and dumb, I think. Because again, the crown always wins. The crown always wins at the end of the day. This has been always true. And so, yeah. So John Alvarez says you should get a trench coat. I should. It was cold. So I'm glad I have something that was a little bit more than a trench coat. But I do like trench coats and I do have them. But again, right now I need to get back on a better workout schedule. But these things take a lot of times I haven't been able to. But it is fun. Brittany, Laura K. Brittany, you always provide such great content and we appreciate you sharing everything. Love watching your videos here in New Jersey. Enjoy your visit to Boston. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are so sweet. Laura, thank you. John Alvarez says we will see Lilibet's picture tomorrow. That could be true. Because again, Harry and Meghan, they need to sell their thing. But I will say when I was in the UK after the Jubilee in June, Lilibet's picture had dropped the evening before I left. And it was in the Sunday paper the next day. And that Sunday paper was not moving like some of the other ones. Mar Ikar asks, a royal expert said the booze is not for King William, but something about Irish Catholic thing. Yep. We mentioned that too. And A says, bought my daughter the Lululemon packable puffy jacket. Ooh, packable. Yeah, because I actually brought my burgundy one too in case I really needed it for some reason. But I mean, guys, it looks gnarly. It does. So, and I was really excited too today because I found my little hat thing that I got. My little knit. Not hat, but like little, can't remember what it's called. I'm blanking on it. Anyways, they wear them in the snow and they look cute. So I bought that. So hopefully, because today my head started to get cold. So hopefully that'll keep me warmer tomorrow if it gets cold. Tracy says, hi, Brittany. I love live chats are so fun. I was wondering how little Miss Pippa is doing. She's such a cutie. Oh, thank you. So little Miss Pippa, if you guys don't know, is my dog and she broke her elbow recently. She's usually my little co-pilot and co-host on my live streams. And I guess I should say she's my co-pilot in my car and she's my co-host on the live streams. So she is at home with my sister and then she'll be boarded for a couple of days because she is we're all going out of town for my grandma's 90th birthday. So that'll be super exciting. Oh, and so Moth's mummy. Yes, beanie. That's the word I was looking for. I couldn't think of. So Disfan asks, are George, Charlotte, and Louis in the UK? I assume they are in school with their nanny. Yes, they are in the UK. I had a moment where I thought they were coming out with Catherine and William, with the mayor of Boston, but no, the kids aren't here, and they would be in the UK with Nanny Maria and probably their grandparents too. I'm sure they're both there. So the Royal Collections asked, was Caroline Kennedy at the game? Yes, apparently she did show up at the game because she was supposed to be at the opening ceremony, and so was John Kerry. Neither one of them were there. I don't know if they amended it because of the rain and the weather. I don't know. It was just kind of odd. But we'll go ahead and just wrap up here in a minute because it is about 9:30. And I know you guys all love these, but we will go with, I think this is a great question to end on from Sandra. Where to see the royals tomorrow morning? So they're actually splitting up tomorrow, which surprised me a bit. So Catherine is going to Harvard and the Child Development Center, and William is going to the JFK Library, and then later in the day they'll be at the Earthshot Prize. So that is what they'll be doing tomorrow. Earthshot, It's on the schedule is at 4:45. Catherine sings at 11:15. I'm technically closer to the JFK library, but as I understand, it's going to be shut down for William's event, so I don't even think you could really see him. So as soon as Catherine is done, we're done at Catherine's event. I will probably then head over to where the Earthshot Prize will be because I don't want to go all the way back to my hotel. Although I really like to use bookstore over at Harvard, so that'll be a difficult moment because I'll want to go in the bookstore, but I don't want to be lugging around books the rest of the day. So probably not. Although I did think about getting a hotel closer in town, but again, I just didn't want to pay the extra money because my other hotel I got in addition to this one because I was like I thought they were going to be the event was going to be at the JFK library, but it's actually in town. But the other hotel I got was like $1,200 more. So I'm glad I didn't get it, but it would have been more convenient for the event for sure. But I actually did miss this question, so I will definitely end on this one here from Indie Girl. So, what was your favorite part of the day? Oh goodness, I think the favorite part of the day was being right there and getting the shots of Catherine in the crowd with everyone, and William too, because that's like because my vision for this whole channel is really to because I've actually have been a bit of a journalist and I've been writing in those sorts of things, and so I like wanted to do a career in this way and like be a royal reporter, but I didn't know how to get that job because I thought, well, those jobs I'm sure are pretty cushy and pretty difficult to get. So I was like, well, I started a blog initially, which I really need to work on, getting the website up and in a much better shape here eventually. But I really wanted to be, I was like, I want to be a royal reporter. But I was like, but nobody will probably hire me as a royal reporter because my writing was pretty kind of niche and in, a pretty small market, really. I mean, I interviewed a lot of pretty cool people, but it definitely wasn't royal level. So I thought, well, you know what? I'll create my own thing. And it's done really well. And I want to continue to grow it. And so it was just really fun to be there. And it's like, it would have been cool to have another journalist interview me, but I'm also, so I can, share more about the channel, but I'm also really excited to be the journalist documenting things. That's what I really want to be doing. And so it was just really exciting to be there in that moment, not only just to see them, but because that was really cool, but to just be able to like really officially like document and go and have content for my channel, my own content that I can use and my own pictures and everything, which I think are really exciting and something that I'm really looking forward to continue to growing so that way I have like a repertoire and I'm like looking forward to like learning better how to take pictures and stuff so I can get better pictures every time. And so I am just really looking forward to that and hopefully continuing to grow it. And I'm just so hopefully at one point someday, a Royal News Network correspondent will be at every royal event, wherever it happens to be in whatever country. Hopefully, maybe that'll happen some days. We will see it. So I hope that maybe will happen. We will see. But so far, this has been a wonderful and amazing journey, and I'm so glad you guys are able to come with it on me with it. And I'm so excited. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow and hopefully getting even more. And I'm so thrilled. So, guys, thank you again so much for watching. If this is your evening time, go have a good night's rest, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. I think somebody did ask, will we be doing a live stream tomorrow? Probably. I would guess it will be at the same time, but it kind of depends. So 8 o'clock, but it'll kind of depend on how the Earthshot thing goes and how we'll all look. So that'll be interesting to see, and I'll let you guys know. And I just want to say, Audrey, thank you so much for the tip. Will you watch Netflix where Meghan is crying? Yes, I will watch the Netflix so you guys don't have to. So I will be watching it so you guys don't have to. And again, guys, I look forward to seeing you guys hopefully again tomorrow and with more content and more pictures and everything and stuff like that. And Aisha asked real quick, do you have a website or a blog? I do have royalnewsnetwork.com. The website has not been updated recently. I actually have my pictures now because you can't monetize a website if you're using pictures from somebody else because that's copyright. You get away with it a bit more in video. But I do have a website. I want to get it updated. Like I have this whole like grand vision for the website that I want, but I need to actually pay somebody to make it look good because it doesn't look good right now. I know a little bit about coding and stuff, but not to the extent where it really, really looks good. So that's somebody else can help me with that, hopefully. Oh, Duchess Delusional, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so, so kind. All right, guys, thank you so, so much. I'm so glad you were able to join me today and hopefully tomorrow. And check out my Twitter, which is RNN_Royal News, and Instagram, Royal News Network as well. And you guys can find more content there too as I update various things and hopefully kind of get better and better, and trying to manage it all. But I have my hot pads or my hot hand things tomorrow. So hopefully, because I started to get cold and your fingers can't work and the gloves and everything. So anyways, guys, thank you again for watching and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Bye.